best seats in the stadium for the Super Bowl, a really nice 20-foot boat, a down payment on a property, an autographed Michael Jordan jersey, a yearly salary at a full-time job, a naughty animation where your digital avatar gets taken advantage of by a girl from a cartoon. These are all things that are worth $50,000. Apparently. And today we are only going to be talking about one of them. Hey guys, it's been a fat minute since I've done a commentary video, but I had to come out of my hibernation to talk about this one, dude. Cause the story we got for today is not only just super goofy, but there's surprisingly a lot going on surrounding this situation, a lot of allegations and rumors and gossip, so I decided that I am going to go try hard on this thing and put together a comprehensive and factual analysis and timeline of everything that went on here, and then sort of give my piece on this whole situation. So let's get started with the context. If y'all do not know, Verbalase is a YouTuber with over 5 million subscribers. His videos mostly consist of cartoon beatbox battles with popular cartoon characters, which has proven to be a very profitable and successful form of content for him, with some of these videos reaching viral levels of fame and receiving millions of views. In its prime, his channel was pulling in tens of thousands of dollars, getting hundreds of millions of views, and it looked like it was only going to continue to grow. However, the good times would not continue to roll. Verbalase's newest beatbox videos would continue to get less and less views, going from heights like 50 or 100 million to view counts around the 5 million or less range, with his last one, Pikachu vs. Gru, only managing to pull in 1.6 million views. To make matters worse, these videos were not easy to produce and had insanely high production values, with Verbalase himself claiming to have spent around $38,000 on the animation for episode 1 of season 2 of his series. All this led Verbalase to declaring to his audience in a video he dropped on December 8th, 2023 that rough times had hit the channel and he needed their help to save cartoon beatbox battles. That video showed that his channel was really struggling to maintain its high-end content, and that was further confirmed by Verbalase's latest video at the time of me recording this, which teased his new series Puppet Beatbox Battles, which supposedly will be a cheaper alternative to his original animated videos. Now, at this point, it all looks like it's just a sad, tragic tale of a YouTuber who lost his relevancy, and because of that, his channel is slowly dying. An unfortunate but all too common reality here on the platform. But what if I told you that there was a crazy twist in this whole story? Allow me to introduce the Hazbin Hotel, an adult animated series created by VivziePop that aired its pilot on YouTube and got mass recognition and popularity to the point that the show was actually picked up by A24 and turned into an official series that is available on Prime Video. The show takes place in hell and follows the daughter of Lucifer / the devil named Charlie Morningstar. The rest of the show's details are not really relevant to this situation, but yeah, Charlie Morningstar is a cartoon character, and well, let's just say that Verbalase might have possibly, maybe, potentially spent over $50,000 on a fan AMV, basically shipping him and Charlie with some very not safe for work elements mixed in there. Now, 50 bands is a pretty nice chunk of change, and some of you may have now started to put together the pieces of the puzzle here, with Verbalase saying that he is not making enough money from his beatbox battles and saying he is running out of money, but now this info comes out where he apparently dropped 50,000 on a single music video that wasn't even supposed to go public. Like, it was for his eyes only. It was his own personal video. He dropped $50,000 on basically like a private animated fanfic. And to make matters worse, there are rumors and allegations going around that the person he hired to do this animation was only like 15 or 16 years old, which would be a huge no-no to have a minor animate softcore corn for you. But does this claim have any truth to it? And did the video itself actually cause Verbalase to go bankrupt? Who made this animation? How did it get leaked? Was it ever supposed to go public? How do we really know how much Verbalase spent on this? Like, is it confirmed that it cost him $50,000? To answer all of these questions, follow me to the evidence room. Alright, so we got a few different categories of evidence for this situation. Leaked Discord messages from Verbalase himself, leaked emails from an animation team Verbalase originally contacted to potentially make the animation for him, videos and gaps between videos on Verbalase's main channel, and the situation with Hydro Animates, a YouTube animator who apparently was a huge fan of Verbalase's series Cartoon Beatbox Battles, and eventually got brought on to help make some videos for Verbalase himself. We got a lot to cover, so let's make it easier by focusing on each category one by one. First, we'll start with the leaked Discord messages, which contains a majority of the initial evidence. This first one shows Verbalase responding on his Discord to a question asked by the user Hydro, which takes place on June 11th, 2023. According to Verbalase's own admission here, the animation was already completed at this point, and it was the most expensive project he ever took on, costing him over $50,000. Another leaked message I wanted to include right here was this one I showed earlier, just to reconfirm that he did indeed spend more on this passion project than he did on actual episodes of his money-making Cartoon Beatbox Battles, or CBC. And here we have more messages leaked from November 23rd, 2021, where Verbalase is actually the first one to mention his secret project to his fans, telling them that he is working on a not kid-friendly side project that has cost him $47,000 so far. He also mentions that he hired professional former Disney animators to animate this video for him. This means that the project was in the works all the way back in late 2021, and most likely much earlier than even that. Furthermore, his claim that professional animators were working on it for him seems to, at the moment, contradict the allegation that he hired a minor to solo animate this video for him. Lastly, we also have this leaked chat from one of Verbalase's Discord mods telling people that they will be muting and banning anyone who references a certain music video that has Verbalase or Ace in it. The way the mod cites that the server is full of mostly children as one of the reasons to stop spreading the video on the Discord server seems to confirm that the video is not appropriate for Verbalase's younger audience, which would seem very strange that Verbalase would make some kind of raunchy or risque music video, then go out of his way to mention it on his server of mostly younger kids, but then go back and try to censor any mention of it a few months down the line, when he was the one who brought the video to everyone's attention in the first place. One last important thing to note is that this chat took place on November 4th, 2023, which means that there were some circles of people who knew about this video way before it went virally public. It also seems that just a few months earlier, Verbalase was boasting about how good the video turned out and bragging about how he spent so much money on it, being very open and honest about the video's existence. But then, in a few months' time, him and his mods were trying to actively censor the video and silence anyone who even mentioned it at all. Perhaps it was due to the fact that the whole video and its contents were never supposed to go public, and that he was open and proud about sharing some of the more tame elements of his passion project. But once the entire video got leaked and people started finding out what it was really about, then he backtracked on that and tried to get rid of any mention of the video. Now that we have analyzed the Discord messages, we can put together the beginnings of our timeline. The first mention of the video on Verbalase's Discord server happens in late 2021, where he claims that he already spent $47,000 at that point in time, which means the project was most likely almost finished by then. He also openly discusses it in June of 2023, but then the last event of our timeline so far is the censoring of the video on his Discord, which happens in November of 2023. We'll come back to this timeline and add more elements once we've gone through our next file of evidence, which is the Hydro Animates situation. Just wanted to say that almost all the information I got for this section of the video comes from Ali Muhammadani. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It comes from his video, The True Story of the Verbalase 5K Incident. And it's a really well put together video with a lot of insights into the situation, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Link to Ali's video will be in the description. So, it's time we talk about Hydro Animates, a former fan fan of Verbalase's cartoon beatbox battles, so much so that she made her own series inspired by it called Hydro's Beatbox Battles, or HYB. Her love for CBB and Verbalase's content eventually got her close enough to Verbalase where the two were online friends, and Hydro even got to be a mod on Verbalase's Discord server. The two, despite being friends, would have their points of conflict, such as Verbalase's strong disdain for HYB. In his mind, it was a cheap clone of his CBB, and he expressed that he would never be a fan of the show since it was just an uncreative knockoff of his series. Another big issue that would arise and ultimately lead to the two's friendship practically falling apart was a meme compilation that Hydro was supposed to make for Verbalase to react to. Hydro was apparently supposed to make this compilation so Verbalase could react to it in a video, but Hydro was caught lacking and it took an extremely long time to finally send him the video, which then caused Verbalase to take away her status as mod and take away a plushie of him that she had bought, which, like, I don't really know how he did that. Like, did he break into her house or something and take it back? I don't know. I'm just going based off of what Ali said in his video, and he had evidence to back up most of his claims, so I would assume that he's not going to lie about this. Just to put it out there though, I do not know for sure if that happened. Anyways, if we look at the timestamps of these messages, we can see that the disagreements between Ace and Hydro were going on at least as far back as late December of 2021, and had somewhat continued even up until May of 2023, which should be around the time Hydro loses her moderator status on the Verbalase Discord server. If you recall from the last section, one of the people who asked Ace about the secret video was Hydro herself, and it seemed like her curiosity around it was so strong that she resorted to asking on Twitter if anyone knew of the video's whereabouts and how she could find it. According to Ali, who I should also mention at this point was a close friend of Hydro's, one of Hydro's cousins found the video, which was apparently on a second, smaller channel of Verbalase's called Chase, and her cousin sent it to her, which then led to her putting it on a group chat with her close friends, including Ali. Again, according to Ali's video, the group kept the music video hidden from the public because Hydro still had a small amount of respect and friendship left with Verbalase. But then someone from the chat leaked the video and it started getting spread around like an infectious disease. So that answers our question of where the video originated from and how it got leaked. So let's go back to the timeline and add our new events. The issues in Hydro and Ace's friendship start to show up by at least December of 2021, and their falling out happens in May of 2023. If we go back and look at the tweet of Hydro asking for help to find this animation, we can see that it takes place on June 19th, 2023, just 8 days after Hydro asked Verbalase about the video on his Discord, which was on the 11th. In her tweet, she even uses the screenshot Verbalase had put in the chat, so this makes things a little interesting here. In my estimation, if Hydro had resentment towards Verbalase for the mean things he had said about her and her HYB series, as well as for the way he took back her plushie and took away her mod status, then it might prove as an incentive for Hydro animates to find this adult video Verbalase had paid for. Remember, their falling out happens just a month before Hydro all of a sudden has renewed interest in this video, and once she does obtain it, she shares it with her friends so they can all laugh at it. So maybe this falling out is what eventually led to the video being leaked in the first place. I don't think there's any way to prove that Hydro leaked the video publicly, and Ali does say in his video that she was the one who was keeping everyone else in the chat from leaking it, but I do think that there is enough evidence to say that it is probable Hydro felt resentment towards Ace after their conflict in May, and found this video and shared it with her friends as some form of lighthearted revenge. Lastly, we can see the timestamp on when Hydro posts the link to the video in the group chat with her friends, which happens on the same day as her tweet, June 19th. Anyways, this is what our timeline looks like now, so let's look at our next piece of evidence, which is the uploads on Verbalase's channel itself. According to the Star of Luck, a Twitter user referenced by Ali in his video and apparently a friend of his, there was a 6-month month hiatus of cartoon beatbox battles between the episodes Patrick vs. Pennywise and Black Panther vs. Deadpool. And that long 6-month stretch between major uploads apparently killed Verbalase's channel, marked by the dramatic drop-off in view counts between the two videos and all the beatbox battles that followed. Going to Verbalase's channel, we can see that he did indeed upload Pennywise vs. Patrick in December 2020 and Deadpool vs. Black Panther in June of 2021. And we can also see that there is a dramatic drop-off, with the former having 21 million views and the latter having just under 10 million views. And going back in Verbalase's catalog, we can see that for the most part, the Star of Luck is right, as every beatbox battle in the last few years before 2020, with the exception of Black Panther vs. Sonic, has over 20 million views, with most receiving way more than even that. Additionally, let's look at the time between his CBB uploads to see if a 6-month gap is out of the ordinary. Black Panther vs. Sonic came out on September 11th, not really sure why you would pick that day to drop a lighthearted video, in 2020, which is only about 3 months before his next episode, Patrick vs. Pennywise. The episode before that, Pennywise vs. Groot, came out on June 26th, 2020, which was only a little less than 3 months before the Black Panther vs. Sonic video. Thanos vs. Patrick came out on February 21st, 2020. Which means that there was about 4 months between episodes. And again, the episode before that one, SpongeBob vs. Deadpool, came out 4 months earlier on October 11th, 2019. So it seems like a 6-month break between CBB episodes was a little out of the ordinary, but I don't think that an extra 2 months really made too much of a difference. Sure, his videos got less views after that point, but it seems like the videos were already on a downward trend view count wise before this 6-month gap allegedly destroyed his channel. In order to get all of this into proper perspective though, let's bring it back to the timeline. So Verbalase is the first one to mention his secret project back in November 2021, but the Star of Luck asserts that the music video was the reason he took so long to upload another episode back in late 2020 to mid 2021. If you recall, according to the Discord messages I showed you earlier, Ace had already spent $47,000 on the video by this first mention in November, which led me to believe that the video was nearly complete at that point in time, and that it had been in production much earlier than even that. If we are to take the Start of Luck's claim seriously, then it would mean that Verbalase was working heavily on his side project all the way back in December of 2020, and that his time commitment and dedicated energy towards the video was ultimately what delayed the Black Panther vs. Deadpool CBB episode by such a long time. In my opinion, I suppose it could be the reason for the delay, but I don't see enough evidence personally to conclude that the music video was the exact reason Ace took such a long break between episodes. I mean, it's not like he had to animate it or heavily manage its production or anything. He hired people to make it for him. So I don't really see how paying people to make something for you and checking in with them every so often would be the sole reason for an extra 2-month delay on his CBB episodes. For now, this is all just speculative, but our last piece of evidence seems to give us a little more of a concrete timeline in regards to the origins of the music video. You know what one of the best benefits of always being fashionably late to a drama topic is? I get to watch everyone else's videos on the subject and get the most comprehensive and complete picture of the topic at hand. If I would have made a quick, shorter commentary video when this first came out, then I would have missed key parts of the story like Ali's video or Saberspark's video, which contains a very important piece of evidence for our timeline. Saberspark is a YouTuber who reviews cartoons and animated movies and has a lot of connections in the animation world. One of those connections was apparently an animator who was a part of a team that Verbalase originally contacted to make the music video for him, and this animator leaked email convos he had with Verbalase to Saberspark. Taking a look at these emails, the first one asks this anonymous animator if he and his team is available for hire to animate a 2D, 3-minute long music video on a $10,000 to $20,000 budget. Just gotta say really quick that it is so sad that this dude ended up paying 5 times what his original budget was going to be. Like, 10 grand for the video he wanted would have already been crazy, but 50 honestly, it's just insane that he was so crazy committed to seeing this thing get done that he ended up going way further than he ever intended to go. Anyways, if we look at his next email later that day, we see that the anonymous animator was too busy with other projects, but that Ace had found another animation team to do the animation for him, and that they were going to put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video that it is a fan-made project, and that they were just going to keep the video private. In another email 3 days later, we can see that Ace has found a professional animation team to make the video for him, but now the price has jumped up to $35,000. In this email, he also says that it will take about 2 months to animate, so let's keep that number in mind when we go back to our timeline. The last email I want to look at is this one, in which Verbalase informs the animator that the project is complete and is private on YouTube, which seems to corroborate Ollie's claim that Hydro's cousin found the video on a second channel of Verbalase's called Chase. In this email, Ace debates about whether or not he should release the video publicly, citing that he is unsure of what the reaction would be. Yeah, I wonder what the reaction to a music video made by a kid-friendly YouTuber where a demon in hell ties him to a bed and he assaults him would be like. Just curious, like I don't know, I wonder what the reaction might possibly be like. So anyways, going back to our timeline, we can see that Verbalase contacted the animator about making the project way back in May of 2021, much earlier than the first mention of the video on Discord. However, this email also proves two things. One, that Verbalase did not in fact hire a minor to make this video for him, so that was just a lie thrown into all of this to make it worse. And two, that he was not working on this video during his hiatus of CPB, or at least not until the very end of that hiatus. So like I originally suspected, the animation most likely did not play a factor in the long break between cartoon beatbox battle episodes, or at the very most played a very minor role. That means that we can remove the speculation events from our timeline and now have a concrete date of when the project was actually beginning its production, May of 2021. If the estimated production time for the video was accurate, then the video should have been completed around July of 2021, but in the leaked Discord messages, apparently the project was still in the works by November of 2021, and the production cost had significantly inflated from $35,000 to $47,000, and would eventually go over the $50,000 mark. We don't have a timestamp for this last email, but it does let us know that at some point after the video was completed, it was on Verbalase's second channel, Chase, as a privated video, and that he was considering making it public. Now that we have a completed timeline of events, let's quickly run through it, and then I'll briefly discuss the animation itself and give my take on this whole situation. So Verbalase has apparently thought about making a music video with Charlie Morningstar, at that point in time Charlie Mange, to the song Hideaway all the way back in 2019, which would line up somewhat accurately considering the pilot for the Hazbin Hotel dropped in October of 2019. He finally contacts some animators in May of 2021 and finds an animation team who will make the project for him. He tells some of his fans in his Discord about the video and gives a vague description of it in November of 2021. Apparently, the video is almost done by then, but it's not done yet. Also, some disagreements arise between Hydro Animates and Verbalase a month later in December of 2021. We then skip all the way to May of 2023, where Hydro has her moderator status revoked and has sort of a falling out with Verbalase over the failure to edit the meme compilation for him in time, which takes us to June 11th, where Hydro has renewed interest in Verbalase's adult side project involving Charlie from Hazbin Hotel. A few days later, on June 19th, she asks about it on Twitter, her cousin finds the video on Verbalase's second channel, and Hydro shares it in a group chat with her friends later that same day. A few months later, the video gets leaked from the chat and circulates between different circles until it eventually goes viral in early January of 2024. So what exactly is this project that Verbalase dropped $50,000 on? Well, I'm sure most of you know it by now, but I'll give a brief summary so we're all on the same page. Oh, also apparently Verbalase has been copyright striking videos that have the music video in it, so I gotta be careful about how much of it I actually use and in like what way. Okay, so the video is done to the song Hideaway from Synopsin, which is about a girl who apparently is obsessed over this guy, and she tells him to hide away from her or he loses, which means she'll like FNAF jump scare him or something, I don't know. Anyways, Verbalase didn't like the original music video, so he decided that he would make his own. And I guess he just had a really big crush on Charlie, so he threw her in there for some reason. The video follows Verbalase being transported to the Happy or Hazbin Hotel in Hell by a spell cast by Charlie, and then she chases him through Hell and eventually catches him. She then transports him to a bedroom, ties him to a bed, and yeah, I think you can see where this is going. I'm not really going to say any more. If you want to find the video, then it's not really that hard to find, like, go find it yourself. There isn't any explicit nudity or on-screen, you know, sex. But the video is very sexual in nature and is definitely not okay for younger viewers, so yeah, it's really weird. Now, what does good old Ghost Toast have to say about all of this? Recently, I was watching a Nexpo video on the analog horror series Gemini, and in it, there's a hole at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest place on Earth. And the hole at the bottom of it is called the Demesia Tunnel, which is an unknown depth deeper than the deepest place on Earth. And my man Verbalase gotta be so down bad that he is all the way down at the bottom of the Demesiana Tunnel, dude. I cannot believe bro spent $50,000 of his hard-earned cash on a 3-minute music video of him being taken advantage of by a cartoon character and was proud of it. Look, bro, we all get down bad, right? Like, we all get down bad at times, and we all do things that we regret when we are down bad. I know I have. It's never a good mental space to make decisions out of, because our emotions of loneliness or like horniness or whatever else tend to cause us to make poor decisions that we would have normally not have made in the right state of mind. I can't help but feel like a rational human being, uninfluenced by their emotions, would never drop that much money on such a weird, raunchy project, but in all actuality, I can actually see why this happened, and I want to touch on some things I noticed about this whole situation. Numero uno, people were saying that this animation was not worth $50,000, but as someone who loves animation and knows how expensive and time-consuming it can be, I'm telling you guys, $50K for an animation like this is actually not as crazy as you might think. Yeah, it's a bit on the high end for a 3-minute video, but animation takes a super long time. Tons of work, drawing 24 frames for every single second of the video, and considering the fact that Verbalase said he was hiring professional animators, that only makes it more expensive. Numero dos. I think that the unique nature of Verbalase's content actually makes him more susceptible to making a decision like this than most normal people. If you think about it, he is consistently dropping 30 grand or more on his cartoon beatbox battle videos, so this is someone who is used to paying a lot of money for quality animation. To him, it just seems like a slightly more expensive CPB video since he has, or should I say, had the money to spare. But for most of us, $50K for an animation is insane. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's wild and weird, and I think there were much better uses for his money, like perhaps putting it back into his channel, like, or investing it or saving it, because if you remember what I said at the beginning of the video, his channel is not doing so hot right now, and he probably could have used a nice $50K to help ride out these bad times. Anyways, at the end of the day, I just found this story completely ridiculous and funny, but also sad in a way. It really is a good lesson in how to properly manage your money and make smart purchases, especially when they are that big, and how making decisions out of a bad mental headspace can lead to poor decisions that you regret and can come back to haunt you. I don't know if he was actually down bad or not, but I honestly think that it's a little worse if he made this decision in his right state of mind. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he was down bad, down in the Demesia Tunnel when he paid for this. The better yourself challenge for today is to be more emotionally smart and don't make rash decisions out of an intense emotion, but instead practice discernment and wise decision making, controlling your emotions, and being a more logical decision maker. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Have a great day.